This is how you can do this flying paper animation in DaVinci Resolve. If you want the project files for this, go to rustle.shop. I'm going to be uploading everything there. So first go up here and type in Fusion Composition and then drag it into the timeline. Then right click it and press open in Fusion page. After you're in here, import your image, then press Shift Space and add an image plane 3D. Move this down here and then connect the image into it to turn it into a 3D object. And then after that, press Shift Space and add a merge 3D, a camera 3D, and then a renderer 3D. Sort this out and connect the renderer 3D to the media out, and then move this and connect the image plane 3D to the merge 3D. This merge 3D is basically going to be our 3D environment, so we could just drag this up into the preview, and we can see that our newspaper is in the scene. Now go into the renderer 3D, enable lighting, and then press Shift Space and add a point light node and an ambient light node. Connect both of these to this merge 3D. And then if you go up here, you should be able to drag this window over here. And if you can't, just press this button and you should be able to see another window here. And then drag media out to this window. Now you should be able to see this preview. Let's go into camera 3D, go into transform, increase the Z position so we can see our newspaper, and then go into point light, change the decay type to quadratic, and then go into transform and increase the Z position until it looks good. You can also adjust it. You can make it go higher. I'm going to make it focus on this DaVinci tutorial title. And then for ambient light, you could just leave it as it is. Then to make our background, let's just move this media out here and then press Shift Space and add a background node, and then hold Shift and slot it in right after render 3D. You can make this color whatever you want. I'm just going to make this a nice gray, and you can see on the left view, you can't see the scene anymore. So go into the merge and press Ctrl T to swap the inputs, and then the paper should be in front now. So after that, let's make this paper have a little bit of rustle to it. So over here in this image plane 3D, select it and then press Shift Space and add a displace 3D node. Organize this out and then press Shift Space and add a fast noise node. Connect this into the displace 3D, and as you can see, it looks really rustly. Let's increase the detail, decrease the contrast until it looks good, and then increase the scale to increase the rustles in the paper. And then this is an important step, increase the seethe rate to make it actually like move and rustle. So if you can see that, you can see it's like kind of rustling a little bit, which looks perfect. So after that, let's go into this point light and decrease the intensity because it's just a little bit too bright. And now let's make this paper have some thickness to it. So select the displace 3D, press Shift Space and add a duplicate 3D node, and then increase the copies to 10 and change the Z offset to -0.001. If you see over here and you zoom up close, you can see that this duplicate 3D, it gave the paper a little bit of depth, which just makes it look better. You don't need to do this if you don't want to, but it's just a nice touch. And now let's make this paper dynamic. This is the fun part. So let's just select all this and move this to the left. Let's select duplicate 3D, press Shift Space and add a bender 3D node. And then up here in the inspector, increase the amount to make it bend. You can change which way it's bending to X or Z, but I don't think you're gonna want to do that because that looks interesting. But let's just keep it at Y. And then after that, we can animate this center property to make it bend upwards and downwards. Let's make center 0, put a keyframe for it, and then go to the end of your composition and then make the center 1. Let's see how it looks. All right, I see. Okay, that looks pretty cool, but let's make it bend a little bit more. So we can add another bend 3D and make it just bend in a different direction. Let's like change to twist. Let's maybe like twist it just a little bit. Let's just increase the amount here. And we can see it's like making a cool little shape over here, which is looking a lot like paper. And we can also animate the center property in the same way. So let's just make this 0 and then go to the end and make this 1. Oh, also I forgot. To get the most performance when you're making this, go into Render 3D and change it from software renderer to hardware renderer. It just uses your GPU, which is normally much faster than your CPU at rendering 3D. Now we can go into the spline tab and spline our keyframes to make it look good. Now we have this cool little flying paper effect, but it looks a little bit wonky. This is how to fix it. Go into image plane 3D and you can see the subdivisions is 10. This basically means that it's gonna look like a bunch of polygons, but we want it to look super smooth. So let's just increase this to the max. And now, okay, it looks insane. It looks like real paper, but it looks a bit too much. So let's just decrease the contrast on the fast noise. And now it should have this slight rustling effect which looks perfect. Now what we can do, we can select all these and then press Ctrl V and then connect this image into this other image plane 3D, which basically duplicates it. And then if you connect this Blender 3D to the merge and then go into the image plane 3D and move it around, you have a duplicate of it. So you could just put this over here. You could, I don't know, twist it around and have like a different sort of effect. And then we can do this one more time and then connect this image into this image plane 3D, connect the Blender 3D to the merge, and then move the image plane 3D once again. Just like that, that's how you can do the flying paper effect in DaVinci Resolve. If you want the project files for this, just click the first link in the description and I am gonna see you soon. Subscribe.